Hello, everybody. All you writers out there, get ready because we have a hot topic for you today. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I'm here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer. We go live every Friday to teach you everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote a great book. Welcome, Joanie.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, everybody.
Yes, yes, it's a
I need to
beautiful.
turn my phone off. Otherwise, it's going to keep on going here.
Ooh, okay.
And it's going to tie into our conversation today, which I love.
Exactly, exactly. As we discussed last week, when you are writing a book, life happens. Stuff will occur, illnesses, an accident, a job change, a required move of cities or homes. Things happen. The other day I was working, the power went out because there was a storm. So what do you do? Do you keep writing or do you push pause? Joni, what are your first thoughts on that?
My first thought is my car pooped out.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, talk about a glitch. Talk about things happening in life. What do you do? So here I am in Medford, Oregon, 3 hours from home. I don't have my car. So I had to find another car. I had to transfer all my books, my canopy, my table, everything into this other car to get
Uh-huh.
over here. And in the
Uh-huh.
process, I'm trying to find a car because I need a car. So it's like, yes, there's always glitches. And I guess my whole point is life goes on, everybody, and you either hit a reset button, you quit. And I tell you, I don't think if you're watching this, you're not a quitter. And I know Elizabeth is not, and I'm not. And so
Uh-huh.
you keep on going no matter what.
Yes, 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 yes. I love that. So, interestingly, a lot of times what happens while you're writing, because you've activated this energy with momentum in yourself and the universe, is that things will happen that actually enhance your writing experience. So, for example, my next Goddess Power book is about prosperity, and I've had many lessons to level up my own money management skills and insights and understanding of the importance of finance. And while I'm writing the book, and it's like, oh, wow, I really need to include this. And had I not had this lesson, it wouldn't have enabled me to teach more in the book that I'm writing. So I love it when things like that happen. And we, with our authors, Joni, we've had so many things happen that are amazing. So do you want to share any of your things that might have happened while you were writing None Better, Joyously Free, or Healing Religious Hurts that
Sure
sort of,
can, sure can. And I love what you just said. That is so profound, Elizabeth, that yeah, if you're writing a book on prosperity and then now you're learning and having lessons about your own prosperity, your own money management, all that goes into your book. And I think that's all for a reason, writers and myself and you, that life experiences happen and we put it into that book. And I want to just share something really, really, really cool. My honey, Carol, was a grapho analyst. That's a handwriting expert. Okay. And she always said, that whatever life experience you have, it comes out in your handwriting. So whether you are writing with your toes, your fingers, or your hands, it will come out. And that's that energy you're talking about, Elizabeth, that it will exude out of you. And when you can put it in a book, that's even better. So you asked about None Better. Well, right off the bat, my life experiences of grief is a big part of that. And so as I wrote it, and 5 months into grief, I had good days and bad days. I had many more meltdowns. And it was like, well, do I sit at my computer or do I go sob in the outside walking? Or, I mean, it was just a powerful, and I had to make that decision. Good days, bad days. And then do I have the guts to be flexible enough and kind enough to myself to not kick myself in the butt that if I don't feel like writing for this particular day or this particular hour, am I going to be mean to myself or not? And the answer was no. Be kind to yourself, be flexible to yourself, and it will come out when it needs to come out.
yeah.
And then the other one was I had a knee replacement surgery in the middle of writing None Better. So that was a big thing. And
Hmm.
then with Joyously Free, I ended up having a hand surgery
Right.
done
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
one,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to think through life. There's people that are born and going to funerals and going to birthings and having other involvements that I'm involved in that you have to prioritize, I guess. and stick with your prioritizations about your writing and about my writing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You want to throw your thoughts out there, please?
No, it's wonderful. You have to make writing a priority, and it's easy when things happen to make an excuse and just throw in the towel and say, "Oh, I can't write today," or my time is just wasted. I can't do it." But you have to have a strategy and a schedule, and you have to stick to it as much as you can. Um, Otherwise, you can get derailed, and oftentimes when that happens, people just never come back to it. They never finish. They stop coaching or they stop writing and they just stop. But then there are real big life things, Joni, that can happen. So, for example, we were writing a book for Dr. Eduardo Sanchez. He's a pediatric physician in Texas. And his
Okay.
book is about baby's first year. That's what it's called. And
Oh,
he had had a vasectomy. His kids were like high school, college age. And he's like, okay, I'm going to write a book about taking care of a baby. But his girlfriend got pregnant
oh,
even though he'd had a vasectomy. And I interviewed him on Book Talk, so this is not a secret. He openly talks about it. But the
okay.
point is that he's writing a book about babies, and he unexpectedly, very much against the odds, his girlfriend got pregnant. And
Right.
so he took like a year off from the writing process with us because I was ghost writing the book because
Uh-huh.
he needed to focus on having a new baby. And
That's
listen to
great.
this. The cover of the book actually features him with his baby son.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful, beautiful. And look
yeah.
how he turned that into a masterpiece,
Yes,
you know? Oh
exactly,
my God. To
exactly.
me, that's like a God thing. It's like, plan that. He couldn't have planned that, but
Right.
you go with it. It's a
Hmm.
beautiful story.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
it
my
was.
gosh.
Yeah. So that, and then other times people get sick and they say, I
Mhm,
just need to take a
mhm,
break. And obviously, if someone's sick or going through chemo or recovering from
mhm.
something, they cannot write, period. They're
Yeah,
really just fighting for their life. So
yeah,
that's understandable, acceptable, and give yourself grace for that. If you're going through, as a writer, going through a real crisis with your health, clearly. But you may come out of that with new insights about life that you can write about in your book. So there's always a lesson in whatever struggle you're going through. And it doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be something like planning a wedding and getting
yeah.
married, going on a honeymoon. That's time away. You're not going to be writing your book while you're planning a wedding, enjoying the festivities, and being on your honeymoon, period. You just push pause. And then in that elated newlywed joy, of course, you can just write your heart out even more afterwards. So just know that life happens, but when you become obsessed with writing your book, Joni, very important to stay obsessed and committed that I will get this done. It might take me longer, and it usually does, but I am going to do this.
Right. And I think, related to all that is to be able to share what you're really feeling. Don't harbor it inside yourself and dwell on it, whether it's a negative or a positive, but don't dwell on it, but share it. Hey, this is where I am. Be honest about it. Be truthful about it. This is where I am. This is what I think I need to do now. What do you think? Or do you have any reaction to that? And I know that you and Catherine have always been so kind, so beautiful about it, and there's times when you understand that, hey, it's not the book world right now, it's my personal life that I need to take care of, or have blessings that I want to have happen. And even with my friends now, Joni, are you doing book time, or are you going to do fun time with us?
Mhm.
And I have to make those choices. Have to make those choices.
Oh,
And
yes.
that's a big thing. And some of my friends are better at understanding that. Some of them are not.
Hmm.
They're like, well, when are you going to have some time for me? When are you going to have time for this? And it's like, no, this is my priority right now, especially June. It's Pride Month. And so I'm pouring it on that way.
Yeah, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. It's really cool. You're talking about boundaries, which are very important as well. And when life happens, there are boundaries. Like, do you have to go to the barbecue party? Do you have to go to the friends breakfast that you always have every month? Um, you can do a short-term sacrifice to invest in the book and getting it done, and then you can be free to enjoy. I When I was writing God's Answer is No years ago, Joni, I wrote this phrase and I posted it up. It's called Fleeting Pleasure, Books Forever. And so whenever I was tempted to take some time off just to go have fun and do whatever, I would say fleeting pleasure, meaning, yes, I'm going to have fun for 2, 3 hours, but I have nothing to show for it. And then I say books forever, meaning whatever I write in those 2 or 3 hours when my friends invited me out to hang out or something, and I said no, I have chapters or pages at least to show for it. I've invested my time in getting me to achieve the goal of finishing the book.
Right on. Right. High tens. Tens on that to you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
for
you, thank
sure.
you.
For
So
sure.
I still use that phrase, and it really sobers me up. It really helps me stay focused because there are so many temptations, and it's summer, and there's parties, and there's events, and there's holidays, and all this stuff, and it's really fun. And I do believe in balance. Very important. You can't work 7 days a week. That's where you how you get burnout. But really important to um, s- sacrifice in the moment. And it's not sacrifice. We talked about it's investment.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And as I say, it's not a have to, it's a get to. And when you
Yes.
change your whole world and you do not use the word have to anymore,
Hmm.
you get to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get to do this, you get
Yeah.
to do that, or
Mhm.
you get to be this, or you get to be that, not just doing, but being.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of doing and being, times when you could say, "Oh, I can't write," you can adjust whatever you're doing to make sure you
Mhm.
still write. So, for example, when my ex-husband almost died in 2017, as I wrote about in my book, and I was there advocating for his health, he was in the ICU in a coma. I would go every day with my laptop and sit in the hospital room and still write. He couldn't talk to me because he was in a coma. And so I still got my work done. Yes, it was interrupted because doctors were coming in, nurses were coming in, and all this stuff. But I still was there writing, and I would stay into the evening with my laptop in the hospital room. Likewise, if you have to take a road trip, like say it's a family trip up north. So you can have someone else drive so you can be on your laptop working instead of just saying, oh, well, I'm just going to sit here and eat chips or, and enjoy the scenery. No, you can do writing so you can adjust no matter what's going on. Oftentimes, when I'm traveling, for some reason, I get so much good editing done on airplanes. And so,
Just going to mention that. Oh my gosh. When None Better was, we were at the editing stage or proofing stage or whatever, and I'm traveling. I think I was going to Utah. I don't remember, or maybe Arkansas. I don't remember where I was going. But anyhow, I have never done this before in my life. I'm at the airport terminal at my gate, sitting in the chair, and you're sending me, hey, review this chapter. This is our final chapter. And I'm
yeah.
looking at this thing going, here I am in an airport and I'm reviewing my chapter of my book. And I even said to the people next to me, I'm reviewing my book right now. And they're like, what? I go, I'm a brand new author. Look at this. Here's my book reviewing it,
Oh,
And I read a couple sentences out loud, and everybody around me are going, this is cool. I've never had
uh-huh,
this happen before. And it
uh-huh,
was just amazing. You're right.
uh-huh.
And it reminds me of sports, Elizabeth. I know
Hmm.
as an athlete, when we would travel to our games, we'd always be either doing our studying work or doing something on that bus or in that car or in that vehicle, or as we're waiting, maybe it's a tournament and we've got a couple hours in between that we have a little bit of a break, but you could do something during that time. Absolutely.
Hmm. I
Good
love
point.
it. I
Good
love it.
point.
Yeah, so it's very important to just rethink things. And
Mhm, mhm.
also, if you're, say, for example, on a Saturday, you have to go to take your kid to a birthday party or something, you can get up earlier and write in the morning and then go to the party and come back and work more. So
Mhm.
just don't allow outside forces to derail your
Right.
focus or your commitment to getting it done.
Right, right. And it's so worthwhile when you finish it. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
And I still believe in the reset button right there on your forehead. You can hit a reset button. So if you need to change your publication date, or you need to change some kind of date in there that you are calendared for,
Hmm.
then you can do that. And I know you've done that several times. We did
Hmm.
that with Healing Religious Hurts. We thought that we'd be able to publish and produce both Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts at the same time on June 1st. And it was
Hmm.
like, this is too overwhelming. This is too big. And Catherine,
Uh-huh.
I think, came up with the original idea, and you jumped on it, and I jumped on it and said, yeah, let's go for October instead of June, And so we needed to be flexible to change that.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Flexibility is the key. But one other motivating factor, Joni, that I have when life
Huh?
happens and I still have my writing to do is the consequences. I think of the
Oh,
word
yeah.
consequences and I think about, okay, what if I do this fun thing or go to this thing and don't spend the weekend writing? It's going to push my book forward and delay its publication all the more. And that fills me with such tremendous anger and frustration that I don't want
Mhm,
to feel those feelings. I want my book. Like we were just talking about when you feel, before we came on camera, we were talking about when you feel that you are enough. You do not need another person to validate, confirm, affirm that you're complete. When you feel that you are absolutely enough unto yourself, you pour that into your writing and you prioritize your writing. It's not
mhm,
about
mhm,
anybody else. It's all about you and this
mhm.
mission, this goal that you have to complete. That's how I feel right now. That's why I stay up late. That's why I get up early. That's why I stay at this desk. My eyes are literally burning. I need to go outside and rest for in the sun for a little while, but that's what keeps me going. Knowing I'm enough, I have this divine mission in life, and
Mhm,
I need to stay focused.
mhm, mhm.
And so
And,
when I
and
think,
we all have a mission. We
mm, yeah.
all have a purpose. I
Hmm.
think that's the kicker right there, is that we all have purpose. And when you know what that purpose is, um, then you live it.
Yeah.
Then you live it. Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And
And I was just explaining to you, that I have another joyously free moment going on in my life where I have come to the realization that I definitely don't need another person. I don't, love is wonderful. And I love Carol, oh my gosh, 40 years. But if another person does not come into my life in a I say a spiritual way, I am so happy with myself. I love myself for who I am and for what I'm doing. And hopefully that's true for you, writers and listeners out there, that you love yourself for who you are. And that is enough. If you're blessed
mhm.
with somebody else or other people, then that's a blessing and a grace. But otherwise, you've got your mission right there.
Yes, 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 Joni. I love
Yeah.
this so much. And I want all of you writers out there to know that you can do it. You can get it done. I just finished editing a book for a woman who's going to self-publish her book, but I just finished editing it, and I called her and her husband and I said, I feel raw. I feel like you wrote such a powerful book that is so transformative and celebrates your triumph over some difficult things. And it was such a beautiful experience that she poured her heart into writing this book and I
Uh-huh.
got to edit. It was such an honor. But when people do that, listen, you have to keep writing to get that effect from the reader. The impact I was crying. I felt just this huge range of emotion. And Joni, your book, None Better, absolutely does that. I mean, you made me laugh, you made me cry, you made me cry tears of joy and sadness
Right.
because the sadness, obviously, when Carol died, but then the joy of the rose garden, that scene that might be my favorite scene in the book.
Oh,
It's so
thank
beautifully
you. Thank
done.
you.
You're welcome.
And,
So
and
yeah.
it was such a joy to share that with you as a book coach, publisher, and editor, but and beyond that, just from person to person,
Mhm,
and to see the emotion in your face when you read something that I did write, that
mhm,
was really just like what you're doing with this person here, to be honored to read what somebody has spilled their guts on. It
mhm.
is such an honor. It is
Yeah,
such an honor.
yeah, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. So that's awesome, Joni. And it's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful
Mhm.
feeling for the reader and also for the person who actually did the work. And all you
Right.
writers out there, that's you doing the work. And again,
Hmm.
there's so much temptation.
Hmm.
There's sunshine, there's peer pressure to hang out, there's all
Hmm.
the activities of summer, and the 4th of July is coming up, and you have to commit
Hmm.
wholeheartedly and let nothing steer you off. And then
Right.
if you do have circumstances like caring for an aging parent, which many people are
Yeah.
doing, and it's very exhausting, taxing on your time and energy and soul, to do that, find ways where you can keep stoking the fire of your writing.
Mhm.
Even if it means saying, okay, I'm going to write in 15-minute spurts, whatever it takes. But
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
again, I know this is a mixed message, but give yourself grace if you just need to push pause. Because this
Mhm.
sometimes when I remember when I was going through a divorce, I was so stressed. I would look at the screen trying to write Joni, and it was like it was moving. I just could not
Oh,
concentrate. My
right.
mental health was not in a space where I could actually be in my genius zone. And I
Right.
just had to go for a bike ride instead or do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you realize that you didn't try to force it. You didn't try to push it at that point,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's being honest with yourself, and
Mhm.
compliments to you for doing that,
Mhm.
because a lot of times we don't give ourselves that compliment that says,
Right.
hey, this is what we need to do. I can
Mhm.
only imagine. I just had a friend text me this morning that she's broken up with her partner, and just, oh my gosh, it's just hard. It's just
Uh-huh.
hard, hard, hard after years
Yeah.
and years and years. And
Mhm.
ay, 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 it's
Mm.
just hard.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
just
It
hard.
is. Yeah,
But
breakups.
there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, breakups can be especially difficult because that's your mind, your body, your soul, all
Mhm.
entangled in that experience. But there's always a lesson, always a learning experience. And so hopefully that can enhance whatever a person is writing, especially if they're writing a love story.
Ooh, yep, 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 yep.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. I like that love story.
So every life experience teaches us something that can enhance our writing.
Mhm,
I used to
mhm.
have a job that, you meet all kinds of wild characters when you're working in an office, right? And weird things happen, and it's just like, really? And so I would call it paid research because
Oh,
I was encountering all these bizarre characters doing weird things, saying stuff. And it was like, oh, I'm going to use this someday, not with their name, nothing that would, reveal their identity, but this is just fodder for my writing. So I would call it
right,
paid research. So if you have a day job, many people dream of being a full-time author, supporting themselves on their money from their books and speaking and stuff. But if you
oh,
have a
that's
day
great.
job,
Paid research.
yes, yes, think
That
about it.
that reminds me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, real quick, Joni, just the people, but also the environment. So if you work at a bank as a teller, just as an example, or if you work in a dentist's office and you're a hygienist, you have that expertise of what it's like to be at the bank behind the scenes, in the dentist's office behind the scenes. So you can write characters who are the dental hygienist or the teller or the bank manager. You have that insight, and that gives you one more layer of expertise to draw from as a writer.
Right, right. And related to that, I just have to tell you, I'm so proud of my niece Chloe. She's 15 years old and she's writing a book. She's been working on it for a year now.
Yeah.
And so she and I chatted probably a week ago, and she goes, Aunt Joni, can I have your permission to use you and Carol as like the background of two characters that I'm going to have in the book?
Ooh,
And I said, well,
wow.
what are you thinking of doing? She goes,
Uh-huh.
well, I'm describing who they are, and I'm sort of basing it on both of you. Is that okay to do? I
Uh-huh.
said, absolutely, Chloe, you
Uh-huh.
go for it. And
Uh-huh.
her character writing is so incredible. I mean, as a 15-year-old, here she is able to literally, as you would say, use the six senses.
Uh-huh.
She's able to describe their character as the stories are going on. And I love it when she says, hey, can I read you this part? Can I read you this part? And it's incredible. But I hear what you're saying. All of our life experiences, people that we know and people that we run into, are part of creating those characters in books.
Yep, yep, exactly,
Yep.
Joni. So any
Yep.
final words for writers out there who life happens and they still need to write their book?
Think the bottom line is keep on writing, keep on writing. When you
Yes,
figure it
yes.
out, but keep on writing, because the world awaits you, and that book or books that you write will make an impact.
Beautiful, Joni, beautiful. Thank you for coming up with this awesome topic during our talk last week. because it's so powerful. Or maybe we came up with it together,
I think we
collaboration.
came up with it together. Yes,
Okay.
but it is
All
a
right.
good one. And I'm always looking forward to people chatting with me saying, hey, this might be a good topic too. So throw that out there. People out there, hey, let us know what you're thinking, what's on your mind, what you would like to hear more about.
Yes, 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 yes. Awesome, Joni. All right. Well, Joni, thank you for another wonderful podcast. And
You
all of you writers out there, remember, you can do it. Please go to twosisterswriting.com where you can order all of our books, including Nun Better, Joyously Free, and Healing Religious Hurts, and learn how I can coach you to write your book. I coached Joni in my 6-month program, and she wrote a bestseller that she's still going to prize 2 years later, promoting and touching people's lives everywhere. So please know that you can be just like Joni. She'd never written a book before, but with the right guidance that I provided, she's now a best-selling author and radio host and speaker and activist and all the things. It's amazing. So,
It is amazing. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that. Oh my gosh,
welcome,
so
Joni.
many blessings.
Yes, it's awesome. 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 So proud of you. All right,
Thank you.
everybody. So we wish you happy reading and happy writing, and we will see you next week.
You got it. Right. Bye. Have a beautiful day.